let's get back to One More Day, and I was trying to explain the whole logic of it because you said it just made no sense.
Which, if you say it's magic, you don't have to explain. That can be fine if you're dealing with the fact that Mephisto can rewrite reality. It's an obviously known fact that Mephisto can.
Yeah.
He is godlike.
Yeah.
He's able to do that. But the motivation
is
for the essential overlord of evil in Marvel Universe to do this.
Since when does he want somebody's marriage?
And it's not even like he wanted a soul somewhere in there.
I mean, it's
not even like he killed Mary Jane. Now, that would have been kind of cool if he had, like, rewrote it, then not only made it to where Mary Jane and Peter never got together, made it to where she never existed.
Or he could have done what really Quesada would have probably wanted, which was Mary Jane was the one who got killed instead of Gwen.
Fair enough.
Because did I tell you that one of the things was that was one of the only things that everybody overrided Quesada on. He wanted to bring Gwen Stacy back from the dead as a result of One More Day.
Well, that's because Gwen Stacy was a little bit more understanding than Mary Jane. and probably was a little bit more fun-loving and, maybe a little rambunctious. Because, I mean, if you remember those stories, I mean, Gwen was probably, she would have been okay with a threesome with the Monarch 2009.
Yeah.
Probably.
Well, and because of Quesada, she fucked Norman Osborn, so...
Yeah, exactly. So you do all that shit, and you do that...
Because the character, it's like the character's already been ruined because of sins past. Why not just have her have a threesome with Felicia Hardy and Peter? Because that's probably what
Quesada would have wanted. He'd have been like, that would have been sexy. And they would probably, Felicia and... Because
they have
masks, and it would be all fetishistic with Clive Barker in the background, having like Pinhead, walking out with Candyman, and you would just have like yourself a weird, gay, straight, asexual, heterosexual time.
And that would probably be something Quesada would love to see.
Probably. With like, we will rape your soul and have pleasures, and you just have Pinhead in there. Like, talking to Peter, being like, I will show you pleasures you can't understand.
And that's being single.
Pinhead's brand new day. Now, if you made a deal with Pinhead, that almost makes sense.
Yeah. It would make sense. But okay, let's start to get a little bit further along. But yeah, and... Oh yeah! Since past, J. Michael Straczynski, who co-wrote One More Day, basically was kind of forced into it, but he basically was okay with it.
I actually consider Straczynski to have some talent.
Yeah, I think a lot of his Spider-Man run was really good up until Since Past, and then there were a couple of good storylines, but mostly it was shit. And a lot of that, from what we've learned later, was because of editorial interference, because he didn't want to do the other.
Right.
They basically said they wanted a big, crossover storyline, and they said, well, we'll just take it from this other storyline you did where you only hinted at Peter possibly being a totem. Right. It wasn't straight flat out until the other.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is why, if they had done the other, they should have just had it be what... Because the tagline was evolve or die.
Right.
It should have been just him genetically as opposed to him just being a fucking totem.
Fair enough. And, it was just sitting there. And now, is Mary Jane still exists, right?
She still exists in the Brand New Day universe.
Does she know Peter in there?
Yes, but she's like the old flame. It's like, how they set it up is that...
Is she still hot?
Yes.
So basically what they're doing, and I know what they're going to do, is they're going to set it up for probably like some one-night stand with him and Mary Jane.
Probably, but they had already...
With Felicia Hardy and... Gwen Stacy reincarnated, and...
Gwen Stacy's clone.
Which was originally brought back with a High Evolutionary, but I don't know if that's actually in anything new.
The High Evolutionary... It's really weird how they retconned it, because they retconned it in the Clone Saga, but we probably shouldn't get into that, because we are focused on Brand New Day.
Right.
But the whole idea was she first popped up in this arc where she wasn't originally going to pop up, which was the paparazzi arc, where Peter became a paparazzo.
Remember that.
And in it, she popped up. It was supposed to be, I think, only 3 issues, and then it got extended to 5. In the last 2 issues, they introduced her with her boyfriend, Bobby Carr. Douchebag Hollywood star, Bobby Carr.
And Peter is not even working in the school anymore.
No, he's back to being a photographer for the Daily Bugle, which is not owned by Jameson. Because Jameson had a heart attack, and then while he was out, his wife sold the Bugle, and then now he's the mayor of New York City, while some other asshole is the head of the Daily Bugle, who's actually even worse than Jameson. But it's like in his first appearance, he actually was implied to be this really nice guy. And then it was like, no, he's worse than Jameson and is even more of a tabloid editor than even Jameson.
And you were going on with all the other stuff that they've introduced, too, along with, like, the Vulture being a cannibal. And
yeah, well, it's not the Vulture, but the
new Vulture, of which there are several.
Yeah, he's like the 5th.
And you have this whole thing is to try to make, I guess, Spider-Man more adult. Is almost what it seems like.
It almost seems that way, you know. And yet they've said that the reason they're doing it is to try and get a younger audience.
Well, I guess it's because they're saying that the younger audience now is because, I guess, you know, weaned on
Saw.
the OC and Saw simultaneously.
Holy shit, that's what Brand New Day is. It's OC and the Saw.
Pretty much. And you take, let's be sluts in college and mix it with weird, freaky violence, and you have Brand New Day.
OC, Judd Appatow Movies, and Saw.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That actually explains it damn well.
Yeah, it does.
Because you basically reduce it down to, I wouldn't even say childlike. It's more like you reduce...
Childish.
Childish with, like, this weird, like, sophomoric sensibility thrown on there with a little bit, I guess, of, like, this kind of, like, college frat boy mentality.
Well, that is basically what Marvel is now, is a college frat house.
Yeah. And you just have, as opposed to middle-aged Jewish men.
Middle-aged Jewish and Italian men.
So I guess it's, you know, I guess you could say they're reaching out to a younger audience.
But not what it was kind of sold as is that the younger audience would be like the Marvel Adventures, like the kids that read Marvel Adventures, where really what they want is like high school and college kids.
Pretty much.
And what's funny is I talked to a lot of college people, and the only people that I've ever... Man, this is getting... I'm going to be so loud on this, aren't I?
Probably. I think I'm being pretty quiet.
Yeah, you are, which is surprising. I'm going to have to really adjust the levels. Anyway, that's some editing talk for you people. I might even cut that out, but who knows.
You might leave it in because it's breaking the fourth wall. Sort of like Deadpool.
Or something. It was something very specific.
You sold your wife like a cheap whore to Mephisto. I mean, it's not even like there was a motivation. I mean, what was his motivation to go to Mephisto or for Mephisto to go to him?
Aunt May was going to die.
So Aunt May is going to die. Mephisto saves Aunt May. Okay. That's pretty selfless.
Yeah.
And all he asks for in return is to annul his marriage? I mean, that's pretty selfless of a guy who basically fucked over poor Nora and Rad. and Johnny... And poor Johnny Blaze, like, he's fucked them over so many times. I mean, it's like, it's not enough that, oh, this is just right up there with, oh, cure your dad of cancer.
And then kill him off.
Ha ha, he didn't die of cancer. I'm going to laugh off into the horizon. And now I'm going to do my most diabolical plot I can think of in my thousands of years of existence. I'm going to annul Peter Parker's marriage. This is a beautiful marriage, and I'm not going to even let him remember it. This is Spider-Man.